The world above the dream realm was no longer whole. Mountains cracked open like old scars, rivers turned black, and the air itself tasted of iron. From horizon to horizon, the red moon hung swollen and alive, its light dripping like blood upon the mortal realm. Every heartbeat of that celestial wound made the ground tremble. In the ruins of the Bloodstone Fortress, Anna opened her eyes to the sky, only to find the stars gone. In their place floated crimson embers, slow and cold. She staggered to her feet, shouting Elizabeth's name, but her voice was swallowed by the wind. A voice answered from behind her. "She's gone." It was Kale, the cursed pirate king, his blade resting across his shoulder. His eyes glowed faintly blue, but his face was pale, the curse burning inside him. "The sea has turned to glass," he said. "Even the dead refuse to sink." Anna looked toward the horizon, where waves of red mist moved like a living tide. Shapes shifted inside it, skeletal creatures dragging themselves across the shattered land. "The heart has awoken," Kale whispered. Deep below, in the Bone Cathedral, Dracula ripped free of his chains. The blood that once bound him had solidified into molten silver, searing symbols into his flesh. He roared, not from pain, but rebirth. His wings unfolded, darker and broader than before, his eyes burning with both crimson and gold. "Nyxera," he hissed, "you've made your last mistake." He rose into the air, smashing through the ceiling of bone and emerging into the storm. As he flew toward the ruins above, fragments of the dream realm rained down, whispers, screams, pieces of broken reality. The night itself warped around him. Far in the east, Elizabeth and Astrea stood on the cliffs of the Black Sea, where the water had solidified into a mirror of obsidian. The mage's body flickered like a dying star, his light growing weaker with every moment. "The Witcher is changing," Astrea murmured. "The heart has found its vessel." Elizabeth looked at him sharply. "Then we stop it." He shook his head. "You can't stop a god from being born. You can only decide what dies when it does." The sea behind them cracked open, revealing an ancient temple rising from its depths, built entirely of bone and glass. Upon its peak stood Nyxera, arms raised, her voice singing in a language older than heaven. Each word she spoke made the moon pulse brighter. Each pulse made the world decay further. The Witcher awoke in a field of ash. His veins glowed faintly with the same red light as the moon above. He could feel the heart beating inside him, not just in his chest, but in the air, in the stones, in the silence. He looked at his hand, the runes on his skin shifting like living fire. He was no longer fully human. A whisper coiled in his ear, "You are mine now." He turned. Behind him, Orion stood, watching silently. "It begins," the oracle said. "The world will bleed before it is reborn." The Witcher's eyes flickered between silver and red. "Then let it bleed," he growled. Lightning tore across the sky, splitting the red moon in two for a heartbeat. And for that brief instant, every cursed creature on earth screamed. The night tore apart as Dracula rose through the thunderclouds, his wings slicing through red lightning. Every beat sent shockwaves through the mist, scattering whispers and blood-soaked rain. Below him, the shattered lands stretched endlessly, forests petrified into bone, rivers of shadow crawling with things that had no names. His body was burning from within. The curse Nyxera had branded into his soul now twisted against her, changing him into something that neither heaven nor hell could define. His reflection in the lightning was monstrous, eyes golden with fury, fangs blackened, veins glowing like molten gold. "She took everything," he whispered. "Now, I take her world." As he soared over the ruins of the cursed city of Delvorn, shapes moved beneath the mist, blood revenants. Creatures once loyal to him, now enslaved by Nyxora's new order. They raised their faces to the sky, mouths opening in unison, releasing a cry that shattered windows and split stone. Dracula's wings folded sharply. He dove. He hit the ground like a meteor, the earth cracking outward in a ring of flame. The revenants swarmed toward him, but with a sweep of his hand, a pulse of golden blood energy erupted from his body, incinerating hundreds at once. The rest fled, screaming as their shadows burned away. In their ashes, Dracula found something strange, a single black feather. It pulsed faintly with red veins. He clenched it in his fist. Nyxora's mark. The storm above him flickered, and through it, a new moon began to form beside the red one, a black, hollow moon. Meanwhile, across the sea of glass, Anna and Cale battled their way through a field of skeletal remains turned to crystal. Each step shattered echoes of old souls trapped within. Cale limped, his sword dragging a trail of glowing blue water. His undead form was decaying faster now, every curse of the sea reclaiming its debt. Anna's voice trembled. "We'll never reach her temple in time." Cale grinned bitterly. "Then we'll die trying. A pirate's life never ends clean." But as they pressed forward, the glass beneath them began to ripple like water. Reflections of their faces twisted, turned monstrous, and reached up like hands trying to drag them under. Anna screamed as one of the mirror hands seized her ankle, but Cale slammed his blade down, releasing a wave of spectral energy that shattered the reflection. The ripples froze. Silence followed. Then footsteps. From the fog ahead emerged Astrius, his celestial aura dimmed, his right arm missing, replaced by a strand of starlight. His eyes glowed faintly blue. "You're walking toward your end," he said. Cale lifted his sword. "Good. Been looking for it." Astrius smirked. "Then follow me." She's waiting. High above them, in the heart of the storm, Nyxora stood on the temple spire. Her robes moved like smoke, her skin pale as bone, and her eyes twin eclipses. Around her floated the 7 hearts of creation, glowing red crystals pulsing in sync with the moon. "The gods bled to make the world," she whispered. "Now the world bleeds to make me." She raised her hand, and far away, Dracula's wings locked mid-flight. The skies tightened around him like a fist. His power flickered. "Come, old king," Nyxora's voice echoed in his mind. "Let the end begin." Dracula roared and forced his wings open, ripping through her spell. Lightning exploded around him as he dived straight toward her temple, flames spiraling in his wake. The red moon bled brighter. The ground trembled, and the war of monsters was about to begin. The night had become a living wound. Thunder didn't roll, it screamed. The red moon poured its light like a sea of blood, flooding the ruins of the ancient temple of Nyxora. Every step Dracula took scorched the stone beneath his boots. His aura was a storm of black gold fire, flickering with the memory of 1,000 slain souls. Ahead, the massive temple doors creaked open by themselves. Inside, an endless corridor stretched into a red haze. The air trembled, whispers echoing from walls that breathed. Each voice called his name differently, some in fear, some in devotion, others in hunger. Dracula pressed forward. "You wanted a god," he hissed. "You'll get one." Suddenly, the torches flared blue. A shadow dropped from the ceiling. The Witcher landed before him, his silver sword drawn, face marked with old blood. His eyes, once cold and calculating, now burned with something else, grief. "So it's true," said Dracula, a smirk twisting his lips. The hunter kneels to the witch. The Witcher's reply came like a blade. "I don't kneel. I kill monsters, even if they wear familiar faces." A crack of thunder split the ceiling, and they collided. Steel clashed with claw. The sound echoed through the temple like screams in a tomb. Dracula's claws tore through stone. The Witcher's sword struck sparks from the air itself. They moved faster than sight, the fight a blur of blood, light, and fury. Dracula hurled the Witcher through a pillar, shattering marble. But the hunter rose instantly, wiped blood from his mouth, and muttered an incantation, silver runes igniting along his arm. Signum Ignis Veritas. Flames erupted, wrapping his sword in holy fire. He slashed, the blade cutting through Dracula's shoulder, leaving a burning scar that hissed like molten metal. Dracula screamed, his wings flaring open. He charged, but something interrupted them. A sonic tremor shook the ground. Both turned, and from the far end of the hall, a wall exploded. Through the smoke stepped Anna, Kale, and Astrius. Kale's sword dripped seawater and blood. Anna's dagger glowed crimson. Astrius floated slightly above the ground, his starlit veins pulsing erratically. The Witcher lowered his weapon slightly. Dracula's eyes narrowed. "You shouldn't have come here," growled the Witcher. Anna replied, voice trembling but defiant. "We're already part of this curse. We end it together or die with it." The temple shook again, this time not from battle, but from laughter. A voice filled every corner, low and serpentine. "So noble, so fragile. All my little monsters, returning home." The floor beneath them cracked open. Out of it rose Nyxera, the Queen of Shadows, her form fluid, shifting between woman and darkness. Her eyes were twin eclipses, her crown forged of bone and starlight. Behind her, 7 glowing hearts of creation orbited slowly, each pulsing with forbidden power. "You think you're fighting me," she said softly, "but you're fighting what you made me become." She raised her hand, and instantly, the Witcher's fire died out. Kale fell to one knee, gasping as water poured from his mouth. Anna screamed, clutching her chest as blood symbols ignited on her skin. Only Dracula stood firm. "Release them," he roared, stepping forward. "It's me you want." Nyxera smiled faintly. "You still think you were my first curse, old king? You were only my beginning." Then she whispered a word, "Astrius." Astrius froze. His eyes dimmed, and before Anna could move, he turned toward them, his voice hollow, mechanical. "The stars obey her now." Dracula's expression darkened. The Witcher clenched his sword. The temple glowed with rising sigils, blood rivers forming underfoot. The red moon outside split in two. War had finally come to the heart of darkness. The temple's heart pulsed like a living organ, every beat shaking the ruins above and below. The crimson moonlight poured through shattered ceilings, turning the marble floor into rivers of liquid light. Every creature in the land felt its echo. The age of the dead gods had awakened. Dracula's claws dug into the cracked floor, sparks of golden blood dripping from his wounds. Across from him, Nyxera floated midair, her hair shifting like ink smoke, 7 glowing hearts orbiting her like planets around a dying sun. Her presence bent gravity itself. Behind her, Astrius stood motionless, starlight veins flickering erratically. His soul was no longer his own. The Witcher took a slow step forward, sword raised, his face set in grim calm. "She's using him like a conduit," he muttered. "We end her, or we end the world." Anna shouted over the roar of magic. "No, he's still in there. Astrius, fight her." But Astrius's eyes glowed hollow white. "I am beyond fighting now," he said, his voice echoing threefold. "The stars have chosen silence." He raised his arm. 1,000 tiny orbs of starlight materialized in the air, each humming with apocalyptic energy. Kale, his undead limbs trembling, whispered a single curse word. "Oh, this is going to hurt." The explosion was soundless, a dome of light expanding from Astrius's hand. The Witcher's reflexes saved them. He threw up a ward of silver runes. It absorbed the first blast, but shattered instantly, sending shockwaves through the room. Anna was thrown backward, her dagger spinning from her grasp. Kale caught her midair, crashing into a pillar that cracked under their weight. Dracula moved faster than thought. He blurred forward, slamming Astrius into the wall. "Wake up, mage," he roared. "You think the stars will forgive this?" For a split second, Astrius's expression flickered, pain, fear, recognition. Then Nyxera spoke from above, her tone cold and intoxicating. "He doesn't need forgiveness. He needs purpose." She spread her arms. The hearts of creation spun wildly, merging into one massive orb of red-black light. "The gods made us monsters," she said. "Now we make gods bleed." Lightning struck the temple spire. The roof exploded outward, revealing the heavens. The red moon split into two swirling halves. The stars began to fall like burning ash. Dracula's instinct screamed. "She's collapsing the veil." The Witcher looked up grimly. "She's opening the realm between life and death." Suddenly, from beneath the temple, a deep rumble echoed, stone grinding, something awakening below. A forgotten voice whispered through the cracks. "The curse that never dies begins again." Anna and Kale stood, their bodies glowing faintly from the residual starlight. Anna's eyes had changed, half red, half gold, her bloodline curse finally stirring. "I can feel it," she whispered. "It's pulling every creature toward her, like gravity." The Witcher turned to Dracula. "We can't fight her alone." Dracula's jaw clenched. "We never could." He stepped forward, fangs glinting, blood aura rising. "But we can die trying." The Witcher nodded, and the two, former enemies, surged forward side by side. Their combined assault ripped through the chamber. Dracula's bloodfire met the Witcher's rune flame, forming a storm of red and silver that tore into Nyxera's shield. She screamed, her power flickering. The hearts cracked, one by one. Astrius fell to his knees, clutching his chest, light pouring from his eyes. "She's breaking me." Anna ran to him, grabbing his face. "Then let it break. Let it end." Astrius looked up, and for the first time, his eyes turned human. "Forgive me." He raised his hand and imploded the last heart of creation. The blast was silent, like time holding its breath. The temple folded in on itself, swallowing light, sound, and reality. When the dust cleared, the temple was gone. Only a crater remained, glowing faintly red under the bleeding moons. Dracula and the Witcher stood at the edge of it, bodies scorched, smoke rising from their wounds. Anna knelt beside Astrius's broken form, tears streaking her blood-covered face. From the darkness, Nyxera's voice echoed faintly. "You cannot kill what was never alive." The wind carried her laughter across the wasteland, and far in the distance, the horizon cracked open like a mirror, revealing something vast stirring beneath the sea.